Yeah, it don't fucking matter. Hey, Podcast America, welcome to episode 107 of the Enlightened Neanderthals podcast, brought to you by my company, Training Northwest, which you can find at trainingnorthwestllc.com. Right now, rifleman camps for 2026 reservations are up. Get them while they last. Grounding workshops.
Hang on.
Before
we change full,
tweaked. Hang tight. Let me go. I will not forget Vortex Optic.
Okay, just making
sure.
You said rifle. It was a natural instinct.
That's true. You can get a Vortex Optic from Training Northwest. Email me, trainingnorthwest@protonmail.com if you're local, because if you buy your optic through us, you get to come zero on our range at no cost, and I always end up running you through a few drills, teaching you a few things, because that's how I roll. Groundingworkshop.com if you want to come see Christy and I for the grounding method and listen to her and I on the Right Here and Now podcast. This podcast, Enlightened Neanderthals, buckle your fucking chin straps, because your boy takes you on a wild ride.
We went everywhere.
Mike,
it started with Ken Burns.
Do you want to try to?
Do
you want to try to give the people a synopsis?
Can you ever really put a halter or a bridle on a unicorn?
On a stallion like you?
Yeah, it doesn't happen,
no.
dude. This is what you get. This is America at its best. Dude, this is America, dude.
This is America.
This is America. Is that it? This is
it.
America?
Enjoy the show, everybody.
What's up, Tobin?
Not much. We're sitting. This will be our first episode out in the man cave. We're sitting in the workshop.
The new studio is right.
We got the 55-gallon barrel wood stove rocking.
Yeah.
The mountains are blue.
You need 55-gallon drum of beer, actually.
That's what we
now
need.
That's
oh,
ultimate
shit.
podcast studio.
We gotta get a keg. We need a proper table. So we're sitting on a little folding table, and we need a proper podcast table. And we need a kegerator. Few little details still to iron out, but we're getting there.
Enhancements.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are enhancements.
Cruising
to the
altitude,
show.
buddy.
Yes, yeah. Enhancements to the studio.
Yeah. Fuck yes.
Did you ever used to watch? I mean, I never really watched it, but there was a show, and I saw highlights, and it was on like Home and Garden or something, and it was like. This company would come through.
I think as soon as you said Home and Garden, the answer is no.
Or one of those. But this company was called
Okay.
And they would come into your house and redo like your shop or your garage. And they would just make it awesome. Like cabinetry. Like you don't think a lot about cabinetry, but there's certain type of cabinets, especially for garages, where it's like, you know, those old libraries where the books would all be like, the bookcases would be on casters or rollers.
Dude, I would love to have a bookshelf built in my house that required one of those ladders that's on like
Mr. Burns style.
Yeah, where you can roll the ladder down to the section because you got to get the book you need is always on the high shelf.
Yeah,
the ones you go to often, you put those up high so that you can, when somebody asks, you're like, oh shit, hang on here and get up into this section.
I don't even require glasses, but I would get glasses without a prescription lens in them just so I could wear them in there.
The little tiny ones that perch out on the bridge of your nose, and you got the chain behind them.
So when I get my leather-bound book from the top shelf, I look sophisticated as I slip my tweed jacket on.
Yeah, I won't smoke it, but I'll keep a pipe in an ashtray. Like over in
I'll
the corner.
smoke it. That might be the problem. Smoke that pipe too much, dude. What book was I getting?
What's this ladder for?
Yeah. These books are for show. Let's be honest,
dude. Where's your car?
The librarian. Fucking. Speaking of educated topics, have you watched that new Ken Burns Revolutionary War doc on PBS?
No,
dude. It came out. It was like.
Is it like a series?
Yeah, it's a 6-part.
Check it out.
Each part is 2 hours long.
Oh, fuck.
I did it like...
Is the whole thing out, I assume?
Yeah. It all dropped at once.
That I will watch.
It is friggin' awesome. And I treated it like a like Y2K. Like I looked it up.
Locked yourself down on a Saturday night? Yeah.
No, it came out Sunday at 8, and I set my alarm for 11, PM.
Yeah.
And I watched the first 2, and that's 4 hours.
Yeah.
So Sunday night, I went to bed at like midnight.
Just this last weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've finished it all. Yeah. It's
shit. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. I will watch tonight.
And it made me start thinking more about just.
I will fall asleep 30 minutes into that shit tonight.
Yeah, dude. You want to get a peaceful night of sleep.
You guys want an exciting
Yeah.
Romantic weekend with the man of your dreams? Come fall asleep to Ken Burns' Revolutionary War documentary with Tobin.
Well, I did have something happen like that because Danielle was like, I came up to her Sunday night. I was making dinner. I'm like, hey, do you want to watch? I'm gonna be wearing the same sweatpants from Costco I've been wearing for the last 8 years. Yeah. Let me put you in the mood, baby. No, I was like, hey, I was cooking dinner. I go, hey, do you want to watch? Do you want to watch something tonight as we eat dinner? And she's like, oh my God, Mike, that sounds amazing. Like, do you have a new TV show or like, is there a new movie that came out you want to watch with me? And I'm like,
hang on to your panties.
Yeah, there's a 6-part Ken Burns series that is launching tonight at 8, 7 Central. Are you ready?
You have to pretend to be excited or I'm calling Tobin.
Yeah. Not happy about it. One might say I ate dinner alone, but it's okay. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Enjoyed every moment.
It's really good. But it started making me think about like the blitzkrieg that was America once it was found again by Europe.
That didn't really. So hang on. Explain what you're talking about here.
So just like
the rise of America as the world power.
No. Just the time period of like from Columbus coming to America to 1776.
Okay.
And if you look at it,
pre-revolution.
Yes, but from that, so Spanish were the first to get here, right? In what was it? 1492.
Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
What were your ships?
The Santa Maria, the Nina, and the Pinta.
Yeah, there you go. That wasn't in it at all.
That is some government school conditioning right there, buddy.
Yeah. But that was none of that's in it. But it made me start thinking and looking into it. The Spanish claimed occupation in the Americas for 300 years. The French claimed occupation in the Americas for 250 years. The British claimed occupation in the Americas for about 200 years. Then 1776 happens. We pretty much kick them all out, except for parts of Spanish touching Mexico, the Spanish-American War that happened in the later 1800s.
Well, and all the pussies in Quebec, too.
Well, yes, and that's where you see the British going. But it is crazy how much of a blitzkrieg the Americas were.
You know what's funny? Hang on a minute. Think about the contrast in the French Canadian of frontier Ontario and our sort of like pop culture stereotype of a French Canadian in Ontario today.
Yeah.
One's like a man's man fur trapper, can survive the brutalist winters, and the other one's just another fruitcake.
Quebecian.
Yeah.
Pea soup eater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's a great documentary. And the Battle of, is it Ottawa? Yeah. Fighting into Canada and Ottawa and over the border. It's crazy. I didn't realize either how many Germans were like mercenaries have been around forever.
So the Hessians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it threw me because Hessians and all I kept thinking in my head, I'm saying Haitians. So I'm like thinking
Hessians or Hessians. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like, yeah. Brothers.
Wasn't the Headless Horseman and the Legend of Sleepy Hollow a Hessian mercenary?
Ichabod Crane?
No, Ichabod was the protagonist. Yeah.
But not the Headless Horseman.
The Headless Horseman, I think, was a Hessian mercenary who was killed in the Revolution.
Oh, was he really?
I think so.
Is that story supposed to take place in America?
In Connecticut, I think.
Okay. I mean, that is a pretty good fable.
Somewhere
if
in New
you're
England.
like, it's Halloween and it's like there's an
Oh yeah,
old
the Tale of the Headless Horseman might
Yeah.
be like the greatest classic Halloween story.
I never knew that.
You don't know this?
Well, I know that story and stuff, but I didn't know it was like revolutionary times and supposed to be one of the German mercenary guys. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, it's it is what it is. But
Today in literary knowledge.
yeah, that's weird because Johnny Depp played him in that movie, right? Wasn't there a Tim Burton?
I should go back and watch that. I bet that's good. Because you're right. Tim Burton made a Headless Horseman movie.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is that the town it's supposed to take place? Or,
Yeah, I think
or is that
I think that's the
name
title
of the
of the book,
story?
too.
Yeah. Huh. Do you think?
Oh, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Legend
is
of
the
Sleep-
name
yeah.
of the story.
Okay. Do you think there's old British tale or old like German tale, like about during World War
Don't go to America,
II?
you get your head cut off and have to ride around on a horse. Well,
Yeah, the soldier that stepped on the landmine that never that haunts you for the rest of your days. But I recommend that Ken Burns documentary.
yeah, I will watch that.
It's fantastic if you're into boring stuff.
I think it's exciting. I'm
very
thinking
cool.
about pushing stop right now so I can go get into my jammies and turn on Ken Burns.
Yeah. The one last thing too I didn't really realize is I knew George Washington was wealthy, but I didn't really realize how much like wealth he had, how much he was involved with tobacco and corn and like plantation, catching fish, salting fish, selling fish. He owned like tens of thousands of acres, like west of Appalachian Mountains. So like in the Indian territories into the Ohio's, like that area.
Think about the
before it
hang
was
on.
even there. So-
Yeah. I was just going to say, think about the concept of claiming ownership to land that is unexplored.
Yeah.
And there's like the whole, like the more I think about it, the more ridiculous our entire system is.
No. Well, that was the perspective of the Indian. Like I said, America's was a blitzkrieg for Spain,
Well, but it's
France,
like
and
the same
Britain.
people who don't question that. Like think about today's version where like back to French Canada, remember they closed the woods. They're like, you can't go, like
It's on fire.
the forest is closed. And during COVID, the ocean was closed. Like you can't close the ocean.
Yeah.
You can't close the forest. You can't, the principle, even though I own a home and I own 5 acres, the principle of owning land is becoming more and more ridiculous to me.
Yeah. Well, that's what the Indians thought. And it wasn't just one group like the British. Like I said, it's a Spanish, it's a French, it's the British. And they were all taking the territory of the Indians. And that you think more about it, and it's like, oh, the French and Indian War makes sense. To be these Indian tribes, be like, man, these fucking Europeans keep coming over and they don't stop. And they're becoming a real problem. And so I want to get rid of them, but some of these Europeans want to get rid of other Europeans. Like we both have a common enemy.
Right. Yeah, we're fighting the Spanish and the French.
Yeah, so it is interesting. It makes sense, and for that perspective to be like, this is ours, and these people claimed for it to be theirs just to be booted out, like the Spanish, like the British.
Everybody else was trying to take over the entire landmass as well.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's like it makes me think of what a blitzkrieg it was, and like I said, Spanish were here for 300, French 250. British 200 years, and it's like we're at like what 275 or something.
You mean since the revolution as a country?
Yeah, or no,
285.
Is that where we're at? Yeah. So it's like, boy,
I hope so. I said that with confidence.
I'll go with it with how accurate it sounded. But it makes you think, like, boy, if it is, say, within 300 years, that's how long the Spanish were here, and they're like, this is ours, no problem. We found it first, and this is just going to be here. So it's like, boy, that is kind of the same time period where we're like, oh, this country founded, America's great, and it was this amazing.
249.
249. Yeah, I was starting it because, like,
I was like, wait a minute.
But it's not a lot of time, and that's how long we've been a country. We're the French. That's 250 years of occupation
for a civilization.
Yeah,
and it might already be toppling. I think it already got too top heavy. And which is interesting because we live in the here and now. So we like in our sort of egocentric view of the universe, America is the greatest civilization that has ever risen. But in the history books, it'll occupy like couple paragraphs maybe.
Yeah.
Because if it only lasted 250 years, like a warlike nation,
but it had the
grew
most
and grew and
impact.
immediately toppled itself.
It had the most impact out of any country in 250 years. If America ends now,
Right,
yes,
but
it's
how
not
much
a long time.
when you're studying world history in fucking 7th grade, how much time is given to some little flash in the pan civilization between 1000 and 1250 AD?
Well, if the Egyptians,
None.
yeah, but think of it like seriously.
Name one.
Think of the Egyptians, if
They were there for thousands of years.
right, but I mean, say if they were there for 250 years and they had all the pyramids and everything, but somehow they also came up with cell phones. They also came up with the automobile. They came up with like putting man
cell
in
phones
space.
may be looked at later
But that's what
as
I mean.
a fucking terrible idea.
But that's what I mean, like of creating all that. If the Egyptians in 250 years put a man on space and we had that ever since, like that would be, did we? But you know what I mean? That would be incredible. Or launching rockets like Elon Musk. If you had a country that went from wagons and wheels to 250 years later, you got Starlink and or SpaceX launching rockets and they land on their own and then take back off. I mean, it'd be like, that's an incredible society. So the impact of the United States technologically alone is vastly incredible to do in such a short period. Now, you also talk about yeah, but that's what I mean. Also, you talk about the culture. The culture is the doctrine and the foundation, but what it allowed to create coming out of that. That art of Guns N' Roses is due to the cultural significance of America. There's a reason you go to Japan and they love American band t-shirts or Levi blue jeans, or they think Jack Daniels is like top shelf.
Yes, because America, up until recently, was largely uninhibited. And so creation blossomed.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, even though it's 250 years and say it does fall apart, doesn't mean it wasn't impactful. Look at Mike Tyson. Yeah, he fell apart. Now he's fighting Jake Paul. But goddamn, you know what I mean. Now he's fighting as an old man. He's fighting these young people in these weird fights. But that doesn't take away of what peak boxing performance is. You know what I mean? In that period, it's still phenomenal. That's a phenomenal fighter. Just to be like, in the same way, you can have a short amount of time.
So you're saying that it's noteworthy enough
to
occupy.
It will forever echo in history. Okay. I think what America, like if it all falls apart, even the things that will come after us will be written or have a flavor or an influence by America.
Do you think we'll be remembered for our art when what we really exported to the rest of the world was military force?
I mean, I don't think we were the first to do that.
No.
That's just a play throughout history.
Yeah.
That's always been done, whether it's Caesar or Napoleon or, yes, fighting for empire. What we did is we leveled it up. I mean, don't get me wrong. The world was getting smarter. Like the weapons.
Every civilization pushes technology, and a lot of times the development of the next bigger, better, more powerful weapon drives that.
Yeah, and
that's human.
But that's what I mean. We were just in a significant time where we kept growing. The weapons of the Revolutionary War were good for that time, but then you get Civil War, and now you're starting to get reloading and belt fed and stuff. And then you go to World War I, and it's like
we go from cannonry to artillery, Civil War to World War I, and that is where like rifled indirect fire with an explosive shell. World War I is. Oh man, I used to follow an Instagram account and I can't remember what it was called, but it was gruesome. It was the pictures from World War I are haunting because it is the first time we learned how to kill on an industrial scale.
Gas and artillery.
Yeah.
That was the big thing is biologicals were the first time used in World War I.
So machine guns and rifled artillery for the first time and the statistics on like the number of shells that would be fired during like these battles of Verdun or Bretoncourt or wherever it was, like the statistics on the number of shells that would be fired and then the casualties per day are fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
when we take a break, I'll look some of them up.
It's also
remind me. Don't let me forget.
It's also like you're having a technological advance without the people using them understand it. It'd be like if, okay, you were in, say as a ranger.
Right. So the high-ranking officers had grown up on cavalry charges.
Yeah.
Where you line up your horses and blitz into the line of soldiers firing muskets at you. So take that type of thinking and face it into a 30 cal water-cooled machine gun and some extremely accurate high explosive artillery.
Yeah.
And so they would literally call it going over the top, where all the troops just climb up out of the trenches and start walking across no man's land while they get fucking mowed down. And each side would take turns doing it. And because I'm going to go on a rant here, because these fucking officers who are sitting in the back in their tents with their maps with no fucking clue of the conditions on the front line. And because back then that idea of the common man being less than the educated sort of gentleman persisted within the ranks. It was like, fuck it. We're just running these poor people to their deaths. So the aristocrats were fighting over the redrawing of the political lines in Europe, and people were getting slaughtered by the millions for it.
Yeah. But
thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
But like we were saying earlier, that's just the nature of the beast of war. The United States didn't change anything. And that same progression that happened into World War I, well, what's the next thing that happened in World War II is you had all of that plus airplanes and the nuclear bomb. Yeah, that's the real difference. And I think we did a good job.
From cavalry charges to nuclear bombs in 60 years.
But we did a good job of like that mentality.
That's one lifetime. From horse charging to nuclear weapons.
Oh, there's people that were alive that existed before combustion engine, that was only horse and carriage. And then it was cars. Planes didn't exist. And then planes started existing. And then nuclear bombs. And you probably died around computers seem interesting.
If you were born in 1860, cavalry officers were charging with sabers on horseback. And 85 years later, we dropped a bomb on Hiroshima.
Well, even less, because 45. Yeah, that was the A-bomb.
85. So from 1860 to 1945.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's not very long. So I think you raise an interesting question. Did we just expel or mass produce? Like, what will we be remembered for? Is it this war machine? And it's like, no, I don't think so. I think war, and that's always been around. What hasn't been is the sophistication.
Axl Rose.
Yes. That's part of it.
That's what other civilizations will get from us.
I think culture is one thing, but I also do think that Caesar, that Napoleon is its own, the military industrial complex is its own thing, because I do think what we changed about war is the mass production of it. Don't get me wrong. You've all like a Rome, and to have centurions marching, expanding the map of Rome, you had to have wagon makers and sword makers, but what we really did is we put the war machine into the same idea of a Model T. Like our ability to production line the war machine was phenomenal. Our ability for accuracy to obtain
to replicate machinery of
high performance over and over and over again was phenomenal. And it pulled a nation together. That's what and I think it did it so well that they're like, we can't stop. We'd really like to, but we can't. We're making so much money. Tech leads to more tech. So it's like, oh, okay. So yes, it's taking lives, but it's also providing opportunity for future things, things that lives can be built off of, careers, then build families, then build prosperity of a nation.
Yeah, which leads me back to, I really wish the military industrial complex could just become the civil infrastructure complex, because at its heart, it's just an engineering business like Raytheon, Boeing, L3, name a military industrial contractor. it's an engineering company. So just shift its focus to civil infrastructure and let's fucking go. Like I wouldn't say I'd be all for it, but if I have to live in a system where I'm taxed and where all these fucking, like we're building, you know, our economy based on the success of these companies largely, let's just shift their focus to home instead of
That's Mike Zedong. You're
overseas.
telling Mike Zedong,
You know what I mean?
this. This is where I thought a draft is. Yeah, you have.
Guess what, Raytheon? Now you build nuclear power plants and bridges.
Yeah.
That's what you know what I mean? You can get your same government grift. Fucking live fat on the gravy train, but let's build here at home instead of fucking dropping bombs overseas.
Infrastructure would be much better than obliteration or destruction.
And I will continue to fight my war of independence. However, I will be happier about it.
But I mean, it's something like that. Why I do think that would be a great thing to have, like a draft, a national draft where, you have to join, but you don't have to pick up a gun. You can pick up a hammer. Yep. You know, you can pick up a blueprint. Yep. And I do think there is something about like making, just like a family. If you have a bunch of kids and one kid you don't make do anything, but you make all the other children do stuff, well, one, that'll create resentment between the children, but the other kids are going to have a better understanding of the household because they help keep it together and understand how it works. The other kid's just living aloof and he's like, oh, laundry just gets done and food just appears and leaves rake themselves. When you make your citizen part of that home and they have to do chores, you understand how the system works, so too. You're like, oh shit, I have way more respect for paving roads and creating power lines and infrastructure and what it really means that we have this amazing system going on. It gives me appreciation. Yep. Most people are just like, power line's cool. Tree on power line, no phone.
Yeah, call somebody. Yeah.
Bad. But, you know, to have someone that could see that and be like, oh, shit, I know what this needs. And you call your hey, I see this tree here and it's probably, there's a sub box because I worked on this. You know, I do think there is something inherently amazing about making people like be drafted for where they live, you know? And like I said, it doesn't have to be picking up the gun. It can be swinging a hammer. It can be
civil service.
But it just creates like, that is how you make America great again. But what if the coolest president ever, like Mike Kozak or Trump was just like, Mike, I really,
you mean
your episodes
Croatian Trump?
Yeah.
Have the largest hands.
Polish Trump, dude.
Polish Trump.
Let's be honest. Polish Prince over here. But if I had a crazy idea like that.
We have the greatest sausages. Get them with sauerkraut. It's delicious.
Dude, they are pretty good. Polish is the best.
Yeah.
Dude.
Lots of potatoes.
Dude, my stepdad, like, so growing up, we barbecued a lot and we competed in it. My parents did nationally. Like they travel everywhere. All our friends had restaurants. Oh, yeah. And so we'd get all these restaurant like supply, like here's this company is making some new artisan sausage or something, you know, but there was a company out of Philly and they created like, it was called the world's biggest, like it was the biggest hot dog and it was called like the home wrecker.
They call it the Trump.
Dude, it was
the
called
biggest wiener.
Dude, no, it was the home wrecker, dude. It was just this big wiener. And it's like, dude, that's what your wife cheats on you with. That's the home wrecker, dude. And it was like, where do you get this shit? But yeah. Sorry, Polish sausage. That's what distracted me. But if you did get a president, like Trump is crazy. He's like tariffs. Now tariffs are happening. What if he's like national draft, but it's like I said, here's two different avenues. Draft either for the military or you have a people's core.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I don't either. But I think the repercussions.
We've already had that conversation in episode 47.
One of the instant classics.
Yeah.
But that would have like the repercussions of that would be almost immediately. Like I feel. Yeah. You would not like it would change.
I also know how fucking terrible the government is at doing everything. So I don't want to add yet another civil service into the system that's just going to suck up more dollars and get absolutely nothing done.
I know, right? How do you allocate money but make sure it still happens? That seems to be the biggest problem.
That's a good question.
Because
What
money's
is-
given
what is-
away
what
left
is the
and
correct
right. So
way
what
for
makes
oversight?
it really work?
Yeah, the problem is that money is the overseers have been bought off. That's the problem. It's called
Well, it's because it's
industry
not
capture.
your money then.
Yeah.
If it
Wait,
was
what?
your money, there.
Yeah, that is the problem. Is these people are spending not their money.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the reason you give money away and things don't happen is because it's not yours.
Yep.
If you miss, maybe that should be more. There should be like,
Do you know that every tax used to have an end date?
like when it begins and stops, and
When it
yeah,
when it has to, in order to institute a new tax in the past, you had to have a stated goal to raise, X number of dollars for this purpose. And when that number of dollars was raised for that purpose, that tax had to sunset and go away.
yeah.
There was no such thing as just recurring taxation. So it's like if we need a bridge, then we take a vote and we approve a levy on whatever, soda pop or fucking commerce, however, to raise $1.2 million to repair the bridge or to build the new bridge.
Yeah. And then once it's
And
done,
then once we have our $1.2 million, we hire our contractor and that tax goes away. That's how it's supposed to be done.
well, you see the continual loop, like where you're part of it.
Boy, do I ever.
But think
Some
of,
might call that the Black Cube of Saturn, Mike. That could be a whole other episode.
dude, that's my porn name. That's when I go blackface. That's when I go black body.
Oh, shit.
The black cube of death, baby.
Oh, my God. He painted his dick, too.
Or the black cube of Saturn.
Mr. Spot.
I like Saturn, dude.
The Black Cube of Saturn. That's a whole other, that is a long discussion in itself. But it's an important lesson.
Well, my porn name's even more important, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Hang on. We were saying something really good. Back up 2 seconds. Where were we?
Black Cube of Saturn.
Right before black cube of
Black
Saturn.
dick.
Black. Oh, yeah. Paint my body chocolate. God damn it. Where were we right before that?
So civil service, Trump and his huge wiener. God, Polish dog.
See, this is ideas. Sometimes, but this is, do you ever have this problem? Like when you think ethereal.
This is marijuana.
No. When you think ethereal, like it's so like you have concrete, which you can physically and tangibly.
Yeah, these ideas,
they're abstract and they slip.
Yes.
Like you can only whisper like,
yes.
When I say like, what is the best way to be governed? And it's like, oh, maybe this, maybe
That's true.
But
When you're really thinking at the outer limits and letting your mind kind of drift and play and expand and whatnot, ideas are like clouds.
Yeah.
They
blow in, they blow
little,
out.
yeah, a little breeze and they scatter. But it's fun. It's fun to sort of drift on that periphery of logic and explanation and reality, I guess.
Well, I think it's also you're thinking of like why. What could be better? Why? It's like I have a bench here. Why is this bench here? You're like, it could be good here and it's nice next to this fireplace, but maybe I move it just a little bit over here. And you know what? I could set up, like my gun mounting thing and then I could have a little, yeah. But it's like everything's a little bit of the why. And I think when you're trying to question why do we live like this? Why is society set up like this? How did we get to this point where we started at a different point?
Send me that kegerator, buddy.
That's the why. I don't know. Maybe that's how you solve all the world's problems right there. It also made me think like, okay, so we were talking about a little bit of taxes, representation, like if we had a People's Core Army, but ways to make.
We already did that one.
We did that, but it's all in the same, like this. Oh, how do you get to spend money and not have it be wasted, right? And we said that it's
oversight.
not
How
your
do you trust the
oversight. And it is weird because
tax law is sunsetting.
yes,
There it is.
beginning and end. Boom.
You're welcome, Podcast America.
And we're back.
We're back.
Yeah, but you were part of that infrastructure, and you'll see how it works. And a good example too around here is when we had on 405, they expanded it into like 4 or 5 lanes, and they told the very left 2 lanes, and they're like, we're just going to do this until it pays for the project. Yeah. And then once it's over, we'll stop tolling you. And now everyone in the city and the state has 5 lanes to travel. Well, they paid it off super fast, and they're like, hey, you know what? We are making so much money. We're just never going to stop tolling.
But it goes even deeper, is that most of the proceeds from that toll lane, those toll lanes, go to a company in Texas. It doesn't even, most of it doesn't
the
even
tolling
stay.
Company.
It's
like for every dollar,
even stay in Washington State.
Goes to
like
him.
95 cents on the dollar stays in Texas.
Dude, we had a neighbor growing up, and what he did was he was super involved with the church. This is where I was like, churches are shady, but they had tons of money, and they had a great, nice house and everything, but he would put on benefits. Like, so he would host benefits and charity events. And so he had like all the cool catering companies, and they would stage it and decor it and make it look good. And they'd have comedians or entertainers or bands. Like, they put on these big things and do auctions, and say the fucking company say they raised $100,000. Dude, they would take like 85% of the money. And then so then 15 grand goes to the actual charity.
85 goes to the company that put on the event.
Dude, yes. And it's the same exact type of thing. It's like you're with that good to go. It's like, I'll provide the infrastructure. I'll give you like, here's the labor and stuff. And then it's like, but I'm going to charge you constantly for this tolling system that you, the state, don't technically owned. This is a third party thing that's owned out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nuts. And then also it seems like every project too, like what's
funny too is the state is responsible for the repair of that toll lane.
It's you. Yeah, that's me.
So somewhere down in Texas, somebody's smiling big.
That's why all the biggest places are in Texas. Most private land is in Texas. But it's,
Oh, I see. Like, we have national forests and state forests.
Yeah, there's no... Dude, go look at public lands in Texas. It's like, oh, there's a dot. And then you look around the whole state, and you're like, oh, there's another dot. It's because Texas has the most amount of private land.
So do you have to get permission to hunt?
Oh, yeah. It's all huge farm. Like, there's like a lot of farmers like that have hog problems and stuff, but those are just small farmers. Yeah. Think of all the oil money that's in Texas. Those are people that own like
thousands.
I have
acres, ranches.
5 million acres, you know? What was it? Dallas, the guy that has like the cow horns on the front of his Cadillac,
Jerry Jones.
Yeah, that's Texas, man. Right. Those are the biggest ranchers and farmers in the world, but due to land mass, they might not farm it, but the biggest private land masses are in Texas.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they have the craziest animals. Everything from Africa is in Texas. The biggest high fence operations. So,
like domestic, or I shouldn't say domesticated,
domestic wild animals. Yeah. There's elephants. There's more. I mean, I'm sure you've heard this. There's more tigers or lions in captivity in Texas
than not
like
that.
Wild that live in the wild.
Live in the wild.
Yes, there's more domestic in Texas. Like tigers, then there are actual wild tigers in India and areas like that. Dude, Texas will blow your mind. People, I know this.
They get fucking weird down there. They call us.
But that's money. But that's why you have private land and like this idea of land that we're...
Maybe that should be a life wealth goal. I just want to have a fucking tiger.
You and Mike Tyson.
Dude, what do you do with that thing? Like, just feed it steaks.
Dude, didn't you watch Tiger King?
Every Friday we throw a goat in there.
Did you ever watch Tiger King?
No, I don't watch any of that shit.
It's actually pretty amazing. Dude, when they were filming it, a lady got her arm ripped off by one of the tigers, and the guy just all of a sudden came out of nowhere with a jacket that said EMT. It's like, where did that come from? He was dripping with swag. He was ready to be first responder. It's kind of a crazy show. Huh. You should watch it. That was a COVID Must.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to pass. I will watch the Ken Burns documentary. Probably going to take a pass on Tiger King.
Tobin, we have a much different Netflix queue.
I know.
Although I do like my queue, man. Like the amount of 80s movies.
Oh, no.
I feel like the internet, everything listens, like it links all your shit together.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, I am getting there's always.
Amazon's trying to sell you like a neon green head warmer.
Pretty much, dude. Dude, I'm ready to open my own ski school. Taxes?
Let's take a break for some enhancements and put another log in the wood stove.
Let's do it. It's getting chilly.
Let's explore that.
Should I say that over again?
Uh-huh.
Having a space reference or planetary name makes you sexier. Like if I was Michael Nebula
Tobin
Kozak.
Comet Folk.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But that's like a stripper thing. Like Jupiter Jones or like,
the asteroid belt.
The asteroid.
They call him.
There was a
meteorite.
There was a rumor that Neil deGrasse Tyson was a male dancer to pay for physics college or whatever, and that his stage name was Dark Matter.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's
right.
like, I like that.
All right. That's good.
Dark Matter or Black Matter, either one. It works.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a good, But I can't be White Matter. That sounds like a sitcom.
Photon. That's one of the guys on not American. What's the American Gladiator?
Photon.
There had to be
Blade,
photon,
laser, and photon.
Blade, yeah.
Welcome Higgs boson.
That's a good one. Dude. Yeah.
The writing isn't as good as it used to be.
I call it the particle accelerator.
Are physics terms just sexy?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. My name's Hot Plasma.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But I think if you have because if you look at Greek, you had all the Aphrodites and Zeus and
baby, you're
Hermes.
hotter than an induction coil.
Yeah, but then you look at what are all Roman gods, and it's the same people, but they give them planetary names. Venus, Mercury, they were the same gods and had the same tendencies, like of love, of speed, of knowledge, of land.
So if we're talking Greek gods, these are aspects of your personality. Where are you going with this?
No, but they just took those same sexy Greek people and aspects, and they named them after planets.
Who? Oh, the Romans.
The Romans,
okay.
Right? So the Romans knew that it's these tendencies of love, Aphrodite.
Didn't the Greeks also believe that planets were sentient beings?
I have no clue what the Greeks thought about the actual skies and stars.
Okay.
I feel like if anyone, they maybe had a better understanding, because I feel like Greeks are much more known for travel of paired knowledge, and there's written accounts of Greeks going to Egypt and traveling a lot for information dissemination, where Rome was there for conquest in Africa, right? Greece is very interesting if you look. I mean, that's where how much of our math comes from Greek.
Yeah.
Much of our
from Mesopotamia, really.
Yeah, Mesopotamia. But that's what I mean. They traveled to Egypt a lot to go to exchange information and knowledge. That's why it's interesting that the pyramids are there, and that's a huge thing of the burning of the Library of Alexandria. Alexander or Alexandria?
Alexandria.
And
IA.
Yeah, but it was done by a guy, wasn't his last, who?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
The Romans. No.
But his teacher was...
this is embarrassing.
His teacher was Aristotle? Alexander the Great.
No, Alexander was a Greek.
I thought the burning... Type faster. I got to fill space and sound semi-intelligent. But I thought the Greeks were much more known for traveling and disseminating information, and like they searched.
Oh, it is Julius Caesar. Okay. I was going to say Julius Augustus Caesar, but I thought that was wrong.
Was it the burning of Alexandria, the Library of Alexandria? But I've always heard that there was a lot of information about ancient Mesopotamia, the Fertile Crescent area. Boom. Thank you, social studies, 8th grade. Know that term. But that whole like Mediterranean area was just lit for information in that time. And it makes me think, like, if that idea of Atlantis was there, it's like, well, then that makes sense that around the Mediterranean would be places that would have the sprinkles of Atlantis on them, of knowledge, like just by proximity.
Yeah,
if this is a road,
but a lot
you
of
travel
other cultures, like the Mayans, had that also.
Not to the knowledge of how much Mayan math do you use. You use a lot more Greek.
Yeah. But I think the Mayans already knew geometry, so I wonder how they explain geometry.
But
I wonder if math is just our way of describing the physical world, and if there was a different language for describing the physics of reality in other cultures.
Math is somehow transcends.
We would like
math transcends.
We can't comprehend it because we've never been exposed to it.
Math transcends because it is like, what do you call it? It's binary. Right, it's ones and zeros. Right,
so what?
It's either one beat.
So the
Mayans, or it's two
which
beats.
Obviously understood architecture and symmetry and geometry,
everything. Yes,
if they didn't have math,
they did.
Okay, where did they get it from?
That's what it's trying to like. So the question is where is more of the evidence, and is the evidence because
so where did their math come from? Mesopotamia, the Fertile Crescent.
Yes,
or did they come up with this? Did they come up with a different system? Were they using base 10? What were they doing?
You know how it's like that rat experiment? You do the same maze, and it might take one rat 10 minutes.
It's called morphic resonance. I have a book on it that I'm so fucking excited to start.
Dude,
I got
book?
I got some good books in the queue right now. No, I agree. That shit was terrible. I've got some good books in the queue, Mikey.
What is the name? What was the name?
God, it is
the Cosmic Experience.
The something web.
Dude, anything he's like, you can't explain it. It is.
It is, yeah.
He's like, a kung fu master touches someone and they fall over. But then, you can't explain it.
It was like the assertion, but then and you're like, okay, here we go. He's going to explain why he says this. Nope. Just go to the next example. I was like, oh, fuck.
Worst book ever, dude.
My bad.
The endomorphic field. No, that's not real, but yeah. Anyways, that book. Now I'm just thinking angrily about that book. Oh, shit. No, I think it could be something like that where it's like that rat experiment where you have a rat in a maze and it solves it in 10 minutes. And then on the other side of the world, you have another rat in that same exact maze and it solves it in 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And then you do it somewhere else in the world with that exact, and it always goes quicker. It never. Yeah, so it's like when ideas are
it's been entered into the shared consciousness.
So it's like, okay, either it taps into something and it's like ideas proliferate once they exist, or knowledge has been shared. So that's the question. And we have more proof of evidence of ancient Greece than we do of Mayan culture in South America. Now, is that the jungle swallowing it up and stuff? Is it because maybe, I don't know, maybe the Greeks built those pyramids and they left it for these people and they left, like, here's how you do it and stuff. And they're just like, fuck that. In 1,000 years, we'll be cutting heads off again and the Spanish will be showing up. Yeah. That's why history is so fun piecing it together. It's like, yes, you do have to look at, there is very advanced architectural existence, both in Greece, in Egypt, in all throughout South America. I mean, South America and Egypt are the two biggest. And it's like, you look at Greece and stuff, and that's amazing with the Acropolis and Parthenon and all these places that are amazing. But what really stand out is Egypt, and then some culture that is supposed to be the Americas as the last inhabited have mega structure of stone, megalithic stone structure.
Do you know that there are parts of the Grand Canyon that you're not allowed to enter?
Yeah, but it's due to Indian rights. There's like some Indian tribe that lives down there.
Have you ever looked at the surrounding? Have you ever looked at that part of the Grand Canyon on Google Earth?
Was it just big smiley face blocking it off?
The names are all like Egyptian, like Mount Osiris. They're all Egyptian. They are all Egyptian names of the mountains around there, and so it's just fascinating that there's again, it's like closing the ocean or closing the forest.
Yeah,
this canyon is closed. You are not allowed to go down there.
Well, do you know what a haplotype is in genetics?
No.
So like a haplotype is when they do genetic, like the biggest thing Clinton did funding on the Human Genome Project. And it was actually interesting that we put that much money towards understanding DNA. During a time when the glove did not fit, so you can't acquit, but they had DNA evidence. But like we learned so much through government funding of the Human Genome Project. And part of it is like we got to start tracing people's blood. Like today we take it for granted because we're like, 23andMe, and I'm going to find out what I was. But you know how many billions of dollars that costed taxpayers to understand that? Like we figured out kind of genetics, like, and started to really understand and be able to trace. And so haplotypes are different. Like when you have a lineage, say it's like a bunch of Polish people from Poland or English people, and they're separated in an island and they just live there. They're their own little DNA, right? And then over time, they'll morph and change, like, compared to one section of England and another. But when there's drastic changes, say it's split in half due to an earthquake and England's two places, now their genes are really going to start to shift. And haplotypes are markers in dramatic shift, right? So they can measure haplotypes, and they do this through the American the peoples of America. And what you would think is like, okay, Asia and stuff, like I'm going to take Asia, Russia, I'm going to take the ice bridge to the Americas. So it's like probably the first people to come would be the Inuits that settle in Alaska. Then it would be like the Native American people of Americas, and they would settle in Americas. Is this
how they know that Aborigines and South Americans have like common ancestry?
Yes. Yes. So they measure haplotypes. Yes. They're measuring genetic factors of massive change. And it changed and all it is just 4 amino acids, right? Guanine, adenine, cytosine, and thymine, right? It's just these amino acids and how they chain together. It's the binary. It's the code. It's the math. This is the same thing of why geometry carries over. This is seeing it in everything. You're just learning what the one, here's a constant set of amino acids. This is a printing, right? And you can start to map that out. And so the way it's unfolded is that the oldest haplotypes in the Americas are like the Peruvians, the super deep South Americans. Okay. And that screws up the model because it doesn't fit with the peopling of Americas. If the ice bridge is what it is, and that's overkill hypothesis, that is people came over from Russia, Asia on the ice bearing, killed off all the woolly mammoth, all the short-faced bears, all the giant possum, all the giant beaver, all the giant armadillo, all these animals, the saber-toothed cats. That's all people. They just did that, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, the oldest people are the ones that live down south. That means they went on a blitzkrieg in like 1,000 years, and just killing. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. So the model's off. Yep. And so that's why genome is like really interesting, because it's like, well, yeah, so how do you get old of old and old of old knowledge? How do you disseminate old of old knowledge is math. Old of old knowledge is geometry. Old of old knowledge is health, right? Probably more old of old knowledge, math is more significant, I would say, than really understanding brain surgery, Someone being able to be like, count 3 sheep, or like, hey, I'm going to drill a small hole in your head to relieve pressure from that coconut that hit you in the head. That's not going to happen. It's more like math would get passed down as first languages.
So what I think is coming back, and what I'm involved in, and with like the spiritual side of this, is I think everything you're talking about is very physical. And I think what's coming back is the etherical.
Yeah.
The understanding of the emotions and the energetic body. I think that is maybe what old cultures used to understand that we don't now, but it's starting to make its return.
Isn't the energetic body the happiness of the people? Like a true, if you have a happy society, one is, yes, understanding what you are and who you are. But 2, it's like, really, what's going around you? Like, if you go to Seattle and it's full of drug addicts in tent cities, it's like, it's not the best experience. I'm kind of not happy with my area.
Vibe.
But if Seattle was fucking
back in the day,
yes, and it was like, this is just fun to
Seattle
be here.
Was a high vibe.
Yes, and so it's like, it's not also just like, it is kind of. I always say it, man. Can you have a Buddhist be happy in a concentration camp? Like, is it just that, like, it's understanding, like.
But back then we were still asleep at the wheel.
Were we? Or
yes.
did it change a lot more within that time? Has society, government really been you're seeing changing of guard. People that were in World War II start to move out, and then Vietnam
information was, it was a slow slide into control, and now all of the control is here, and now we're understanding it. It's like the veil is lifting.
Do you think it's always been that much of a veil?
Yes. Yeah, I think we've been blind to the real game.
Have we been blind to the real game, or has the real game seeped over into local municipalities? Has this been a problem that's been a military-industrial huge
it's been a problem
complex, but over recent years, it has bled into your schools, into your city councils, into everything.
It's been more bold.
Yes, because it's carried over.
Yeah, at the lowest levels, it has become more bold.
See, this is where it's like, I don't necessarily think that. I think Mike is a great product of not society, but like, I like culture, and I like what's current, what's happening, because it is gossip, and gossip is good, because if it's like, think of a tribal, you live in a tribe and it's like, dude, this guy gets drunk and starts punching people. Well, that word is going to start spreading around the group. And it's like,
fucking Tommy.
Yeah. Right. And so it's like, gossip's interesting, but we have interest in gossip as a society, like with internet and what's cool. And it's like, I've always enjoyed culture and fads and where we're going. And I don't think I'm the it guy, but it's like, I like to have my finger on the beat a little bit, just because I find it interesting. It amuses me to like what we are and where we are. But it's like, this started happening in like 2008. Like, I remember Thanksgiving of like, when podcasts really came on board, it was much more apparent that this stuff was happening, because you could start to get reporters or accounts, and culture was starting to really disseminate with social media, like sharing of things. But then Twitter was really starting to pick up, and you would see all of this stuff was happening on college campuses. The summer or the Thanksgiving of 2010, I remember they sent kids home, and this was a huge thing in 2010. I'm remembering this. They sent kids home with like sheets, so when they went home, they could talk to their parents and tell them, these are my pronouns. Like, this is
from college.
Yes, and this is how like you diffuse the situation. And there were where you would see Antifa again, because 2007, 2008. I really saw Antifa in my life for the first time because of the bank collapse, right? We had our total financial system go belly up, and all the banks went, hey, we're sorry, but we lost a lot of money. And Ford, A lot of U.S. companies were tied into these banks because they had loans. And so that's why I remember Obama granted forgiveness on auto industries that fucked up into that banking crisis. And this was all the subprime.
All the bailouts.
Yes, because of subprime mortgages to people that didn't qualify for housing. And it's like, dude, you work at Domino's and you make $35,000 a year. You need a 6-bedroom house. Yeah, you know what what you really need is 5 bathrooms.
Yeah,
and so that's what collapsed.
People were buying insane shit on nothing.
Yeah, and that's what collapsed our financial system, and that's when we had Occupy Wall Street, and that movement was huge. I remember it because it
lasted for like a minute.
It lasted for a couple months, but you saw that was our first kind of like
they're just distractions.
But no, that was the first thing you saw of Antifa. That was the first. What was our zone in Seattle? Chad. Yeah, dude. Chaz. But people camped there and they lived there. And they had people that would go down.
Had a warlord.
But they had bankers and people speaking because it was like, yeah, dude. People were losing their life savings. People were losing houses. Like, it affected the entire world when this happened. And it kind of seeing that was like, I think Rogan said it like this back then, but he's like, it was like seeing white blood cells. And he's like, I can't fully explain the banking situation, but for the first time in my life, I'm seeing people like gather around this. And you had news reporters addressing it. You had economists talking with protesters. And it was like, you're starting to see like, holy shit, the American people are kind of getting sold out by the banking industry. And you saw a lot of Antifa to agitate and make things worse. And ever since that 2007-8 banking crisis and you had that Wall Street occupation, you've seen Antifa more at colleges. And it's been more of a push of like, we're being oppressed. This is where I think you really start to see the socialism happen. Is it like your money's no good? You're seeing your banks are just making money off of you. You need to learn how the world's really happening. You're being persecuted. Who you really want to be as a man? Nope. You're confused and you don't know, or you feel you're wrong, but because people are oppressing you and forcing you into the norm. And this started happening in 2009, 10. It
started happening in like 1913.
Right? But then, they started sending kids home with these menus of how to talk to their parents about their pronouns for Thanksgiving. And it got more and more and more and more. And if you think back, those kids that were in college in that 2010, okay, so go to 20 years later. Now these people are 40. Now these people that are starting to hit it are in their 50s. You know, that's why you're seeing this giant push of this. It takes years for indoctrination programming to take effect. Yep. So this was easily spottable through culture because it's like, what happens once these people start to age and become areas of power, right? I am not the most powerful man, but in my industry, I'm powerful because I have time and experience.
Who's the infamous KGB agent who's on video?
Kleshny. Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Alexander Kleshny.
No, it's a Yuri.
Yeah.
God, I can't say his name. Anyway.
I know who you're talking about.
You know the video I'm talking about where he's explaining the infiltration of the pop culture. And it all is kind of played out.
But here's the thing. The Soviet Union always talked so much shit. During World War II, they're like, no talking shit. We just walk and kill, you know? And I was like, okay. But then you go into the Cold War and the Soviet Union is like, yeah, we got tons of nuclear bombs. They ended up not having a ton of nuclear bombs. They're like, we're the strongest ever. And it's like, dude, you don't have the forces you guys used to. You know, it's like, you're hurting. I don't think the Soviet Union, I think that was a plan, but I don't think they acted on it. I think maybe that was an acted plan later on. I don't know, because Russia, 9/11 happened, and Russia flew an American flag under their Russian flag. that's kind of like a crazy move, especially when Putin was in power.
Yeah, but I think that was a little bit of a.
Don't get me wrong. You can always
I think
show
that was their predecessor to like.
In Russia,
some shit in Chechnya, and nobody really
batting
it, and the international world did not pay attention.
But Russia's asked twice to be in the UN. They asked Clinton and they asked Bush. Both denied. They're trying to play ball.
Yeah, they need a boogeyman,
right?
But yeah, I don't want to go down the Russia
We're already
political rabbit hole. You had a topic coming in here, and here we are, almost an hour in.
Oh, dude, this is what the podcast is. No, fuck that topic. I was going to talk about feral children, but do you know how many videos I've been watching of kids that grew up in the woods, or like, dude, a lot like abandoned children,
Bat Boy,
what?
Wolf Boy, like kids who were raised by wolves or some shit.
But they're real.
Oh.
Do you want it? Do you want this?
Yeah.
Are you prepared?
All
right, well, bend over.
This hard-hitting report?
Yeah, this is going to win a Pulitzer. So I've been going down the rabbit hole.
Let me brace myself.
Sit down. I've been going down the rabbit hole of children that grow up without influence. And a lot of it is usually due to like alcoholic parents, or way back in the day when they thought children had Down syndrome or retardation. They're just like,
put them in a corner.
No, they left them in the woods.
Oh, shit.
Like a lot of these stories of this, really, the best one documented is in France. In like the child was born in like 1790, and like doctors found him in the woods wandering. Like he had scars on his neck, like he had been attacked, and like he was just feral. And they found him in like 1803 or something. And so he was like 13 years old, and like he lived feral, and all kinds of doctors, they're like, we can fix this boy. And a lot of these other feral children are like, there's a dog girl in the Ukraine. And her dad, dude, they were like poor ass farmers with like 20 kids. And her parents were like shitty, poor farmer alcoholics. And like her parents like abandoned her as a kid, and like she crawled into the dog hut, and the dogs took her in, and like she grew up on a farm with dogs, like barely any interaction with people, couldn't speak words, anything. But dude, there's video of her. Like they found her in the 70s. Dude, she barks so realistic. Like it sounds like my pit bull. Like on that video, it's like, holy shit. But I've been watching these feral children videos, and it's so interesting because they can't.
What if none of it's real? This is on YouTube.
These are 60 Minutes. These are documented. These are medical cases. These are journals. Dude, feral children. No, finding people.
What's in this
there's a lot of them that are frontiersmen.
AI produced clickbait.
No, you think AI's putting this in front of me? I've been having to go down this road. Tobin, where do you think a feral child thing sits on the algorithm? Because
I have no idea what your Instagram feed looks like, but I can only imagine.
I've given up on Instagram. Instagram just wants to show me like
boobs.
Yes. Like, no, but too much. It's like people dying, people like horrific things, and tits, and like workout chicks and jujitsu. It's like, dude, I'm done. Yeah. I'm barely.
It's pretty rough.
Try and get a response from me on Instagram. Yeah. It's every couple days, just like log in, look for a message, but it's not. It's gone down. You know when Instagram, and I thought about this today. You know when Instagram changed was 2020.
Yes.
Because Instagram, I used it as like a tool. It
became a government mouthpiece.
Yes, it became a government mouthpiece, but during all those protests and everything, you could do a search of Instagram, and like it would pull up, like you could do a hashtag like Seattle riots, and it would pull up within the history, like hashtag Seattle riots, just like Twitter. And then once you did that, you could choose live feeds, and you could watch people live streaming it. And once those riots happened in 2020, Twitter kind of changed, and it was harder to find content of that. And stuff kept happening and you couldn't see it all of a sudden live. And I think it's because, you can document this too well. Like that's goes against what police maybe want. Not saying police don't.
No, the control system.
The control system does because it's like for like suing the city or the state or the government, you're just constantly and so Twitter is very much changed. And now I feel like it feeds me way more garbage. Whereas before 2020, it hit like real interest and showed me cool stuff. Now it just like, ugh.
I look at Twitter a little bit, but I have to question every single post. Is it written? Like, I don't know. Is it written by an AI bot or is this a real person on the other side? And I have no fucking clue. Well, and then Instagram, same thing. It just it finally realized I don't want to see like death videos from Ukraine, but now it just shows me mostly advertisements.
Yeah. Yeah. You get a lot of YouTube. I get ads.
I haven't been on
Instagram. Shows me ads for things I do like. It's like, hot tent. And it's like this weighs 2.5 pounds. It's like,
I have trained my Instagram algorithm to show me enduro bikes.
Yeah.
Dirt bikes.
Followed by boobs.
Yeah, it's boobs.
6 packs and boobs.
Yeah.
It's all changed. But feral children is not something Instagram has shown me. You know why I have been looking up feral children? Because I go back to the idea of nature and nurture. Like, it is interesting what is genetics, epigenetics as well.
But your Google history is tied to all of that.
Oh, yeah, probably. But I had to go down my own rabbit holes and find real information and documentation for like real. Like I said, France.
How do you know it's fucking real? Because it's all coming off of a Google search.
It is linked to certain journals, like medical journals for subject review.
Written by the same institutions that told you needed 17 fucking COVID shots.
But I have to think throughout time, there are people that have lived in the woods for a long time. There is those kids in South America that crashed on that plane and they found them 40 days later, like dying, emaciated, but they did make it. And it's like people were of a different ilk back in the day. And thinking
I'm
of
not
like
aspiring to surviving in the Andes on human flesh.
Alive.
Yeah.
Alive?
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, shit. Hey, asshole.
Send that. You pulled the kegerator away from me and then
I thought you had one. No, feral children are a real thing. And it's also not just feral due to like I live with wolves. Feral children also like exist due to neglect. Like I said, parents back in the day, think of like, remember the Sparta movie?
I grew up in a town that was like pretty financially depressed. And I would say that in our town, there were some pretty feral children.
Oh yeah.
Just not that they were homeless, but just because they did not have
means.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so say you don't have means and you don't have people that care about you, and you want to talk about people that don't care about you and not having means, let's go pre-indoor plumbing. Let's go pre-electricity. And it's like I said, the best examples, some of them are like France, the late 1800s, the U.S. in the Appalachians, like coming, like because people grew up poor and children got neglected. I mean, that's a story throughout history and time, but that's just how life was because the adults are going to be the one that bring in the money, bring in the food. So children sometimes were seen as fucking problems, And so some children, especially you think of Sparta, remember, they're like, if they were born with they throw them off a fucking cliff.
But then also as part of their upbringing, the Spartan kids were encouraged to steal. Like they were encouraged to learn how to survive at all cost, to be not to be like dependents.
You can live.
To be like if they had to go full fucking pirate, they could do it.
You're a crow. You're a human crow.
Yeah.
You'll live.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. But so throughout time, like, and so you look at especially kids that have like maybe they don't speak at first or they're a little slower, parents would abandon them throughout history. And some of the worst, there's a horrible case in the 1970s in LA where a girl was like chained to her, like by day, she was chained to like a porta potty thing. And at night she was chained to her bed. And this existed for 13 years. Yeah. And it's the same thing with these kids that grew up like in the woods or with animals. It kind of seems like they lose so much development. Like they're found and worked with again, but their ability, like they can learn words. They're like microphone, Coors Light, but they can't understand like the dynamics of real language.
It makes me think of Idiocracy. Dr. Alexis, and he's like, yeah, my friend, his sister was retarded.
Yeah. It's all fucked up. Your shit don't work right. I mean, but that's what it was. It's like these kids just couldn't learn. And it makes me think of nature and nurture and talking with you. Like you say, like there is inherent things of people that are just like it is who you are. And that's what I do think, like, especially when you see people or you have multiple children from the same people, you get different personalities. The nice commonality is it's like these are the same people raising you, but you do get differences, right? And so it's like, yeah, I think each person is an individual and they have their own style. But then how much of life too is you need society. You need people teaching you in those years what languages and what facial expressions are. You find these children that don't have this upbringing and they have problems with walking, orientation. The craziest thing is a lot of these kids did not know what like hot and cold was. Like they couldn't.
Oh, they had no concept.
Dude, they didn't delineate. Like this kid that was in France in the 1800s, the doctors would give him super hot baths, like almost scolding for like 2 months. And then finally he started wearing clothes and using like covers at bed. And he's like, I like it a little warmer or colder. Before he could didn't care. Those kids that were fucked up, that girl in LA that was chained to a bed and everything, she just grew up without sensory and like perception. And it's just, this is why I wanted to talk about malleability, is just people can do anything almost. You get used to what you get used to. But it's interesting that during that getting used to phase of childhood development, that these people that are stripped of communication and words and engagement and love, like they lose the ability once they're found when they're 9 or 10. They can't rehabilitate into society. It's like they've lost the ability. Those fundamental years, that development is so crucial to like who you continue to become. So it's like I don't know, these feral children. I went down this feral child rabbit hole because it's like, yeah, who are, you say sometimes there's inherent truths or beliefs you have, but it's like, fuck, man, so much of your life is your environment. Like I said, the Buddha's trying to be happy in the fucking concentration camp. Like a lot of what makes you is what's around you. And it's crazy to
I think that what's around you is a reflection of you.
Yeah. What you put out is what you attract, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But children are that example, though. They can't control it. To be put into this world where they didn't ask for that, to have that crazy, poor alcoholic parent growing up in the Depression, or, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's interesting to see stripped of liberty like that. Who are you? And it's like most people become a wrecked mess, man. It's hard to be like a feral child and be like, oh, I'm adjusted. Yeah. It is without, and there was an interesting,
especially in a society that has forgotten how to do emotional healing. But that, back to what I was saying earlier, is that's coming back. So it's what we're doing. It's what Christy and I are doing. It's what you're coming to in January. So it's difficult to explain because it isn't intellectual. So how do I put words to it? Because it's feelings. It is a remembering of how to experience your own feelings.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, what you're going to find is that you're afraid of a lot of them. But then through practice, you learn that there's nothing there to be afraid of. It's just a feeling. And so when they arrive, you just allow them to run their course and pass.
Yeah.
And I think that is what's changing. This is the new this is the revolution.
Well, I think because so much of life since the 80s has been repress your feelings. I mean, everyone wants to talk about
Before that.
Yeah, no, before
go back to the 1950s and the stiff upper lip, or 1940s and the stiff upper lip and the good wife and the good children, seen but not heard.
Yeah, but I felt like
it started about the same time as the military-industrial complex.
No, but I mean, like, people in the 80s started being like, men should express their feelings. That's when I really felt like society started hearing that, is men are so hard and they need to talk. My husband
that was not the message of the 80s.
That's when it started coming out.
Okay.
I mean, women burn bras in the late 60s?
Yeah.
God bless those angels.
Yeah.
So once they burn those, then it's...
That was the feminist revolution, which is not at all... Feminism is not feminine.
No, but...
And I can say that with all certainty now.
Yeah, because they're angry.
Yeah, now that through what... Yeah, exactly. The feminist movement is very masculine.
But there are times to be angry as a woman being repressed. Like, anger is good. That's why being a combat soldier is good, to have anger to be effective at getting your mission done. What the problem is taking anger back when anger isn't needed. You need to find how life has moments that you need to harness anger, right?
Harness good, block bad.
Yes, exactly. In with the good, out with the bad.
Circular, rodeo.
But so the feminist movement was good to fight when you need to fight. What's bad about the feminist movement?
It was a misdirection of good intentions into something that was inverted.
Yeah. So what's good is fighting to be able to vote, to be able to drive, to be able to have a job. Equality for all. I don't care who or what you are. We're all equal, right? Equal rights, equal everything. Yeah. You all have the same ability.
Everybody.
So then
hang on. Everybody listening to this needs to go and listen to episode 2 of me and Christy's podcast, where we describe feminine versus masculine energy right now, because what Mike is describing is the feminist movement promoted masculine behavior of women, which is why it's such an inversion of what is real and what makes women feel good.
What the problem is once you get rights, and it's like, we got our goal.
So what these rights, these things you're talking about, even though you can say, yes, I agree they are important and it's good. Like, no, I don't want women to not be able to vote, right?
Just not drive.
But just not drive. Listen, the last time I rode in the passenger seat while Christy was driving, I was hanging onto that seat with my butt cheeks. Hanging onto that oh shit bar, just rocking. And I think I held my breath for a solid 20 minutes.
But voting, totally for.
Yeah, voting, totally fine.
Oh my God. Basic rights for everyone. What was I going to say?
Oh, the feminist movement was a very masculine energy.
Yeah, but it is a war.
Which is why it's an inversion.
They had to go to war, though.
It tricked women out of their sort of their actual feminine energy into a masculine pursuit.
It set them to be able to be anything just like men. You could do anything a man could do, technically, yes. Right? So
that attitude right there is masculine energy.
Yeah.
Because it's a very direct here to there. I'm pursuing this goal. It's not flow.
But that's America. That's been masculine.
Yes, I know.
So once you have it, you have the choice now to do whatever you want, right? What the problem is now that movement achieved this, Now, what does that movement do? Is that movement going to idle? That movement that's gotten support, that movement that's gotten money, that movement that's gotten prestige and notoriety and heads of business or institutions of college. That's what the problem is once you achieve your goal, what happens with those goal setters, right? The women's suffrage movement is a great thing. Throughout history, women haven't been able to do a whole lot except for have babies. Just like America is interesting that you can't have
I can think of at least 6 other things.
You can't have slaves.
They can make roast beef sandwiches.
I can think of 5 things, 6 if you're in a different state. International waters.
They're great at changing diapers.
Oh my God, we're going to get so canceled. Women's built the pyramids. Women made math. Women, I'm pro-woman, dude.
Hang on.
I'm suffrage.
Don't you make me start this movement again. 6 things they were good at. That too.
I'm starting the movement again. We're starting with the bras. Yeah. Come on, girls. I've always got a lighter on me. Dude, I would be, what do they call them? An ally. I'm a male feminist. I'm an ally. It's like a vampire or a daywalker. Like I interview.
He'll fetch us snacks.
The Cossack walks amongst us in the daylight. Yeah, burn those bras again.
Oh my God.
But it's a great thing. What happens, the problem is when a movement happens and then you get your results and then the movement's still there. It becomes an entity. It becomes alive. That's where the masculine keeps going. Yes. Okay, cool. You can
back rubs. Number 3.
Back rubs.
That's 3.
Yeah. You're really nailing it, dude. Yeah. I think but isn't that freedom? Isn't that what America's supposed to be? Creed, color, skin, sex, religion. Like that's what it is.
Equals.
You should, yes. And sometime to become an equal, it takes masculine energy.
Okay.
And sometimes but that's
balance.
the thing.
You have to
balance is now you receive.
Think of the yin yang symbol.
Yes.
That's what they're telling you is that you are both and you must have them in balance. All right. We're back to send everybody to go listen to episode 2. Christina, the Here and Now podcast. Right here and now.
This is the post episode of that.
Yeah.
But then, no. So yes, you do need balance. So then it's like once you get something achieved, so then what do you do with that? You have to find for it, like to like you said, those taxes. It has to have an end date. I love this
question. What do you do with balance when you achieve it?
You have to have an end date for that particular, like that masculine, that energy. You have to fight that fight. Whether, just once again, like if it's a soldier and it's like we're hunting, you need to achieve superiority of this valley. Okay, cool. I know what I have to do. I have to just get this area and own it, right? And I will use my communication and my tactics and my people with me to just own it. Nothing. Well, that's front and center. That's out. Let's be honest. When I'm controlling a valley, that's an ultimate power move. Yeah. Wiener out gunfight. But like you have to do that. Then it's like, okay, so that moment you achieved it and you won that goal. So once that's over, can you go back to life with that same energy? With that same like wieners out, I'm going to kill everything in front of me. It doesn't work the same way.
Okay.
It's just like fighting. You do a tournament.
So this is what, when you think about like, who's the famous samurai who talks about
Miyamoto Musashi.
There we go.
That's Coors Light talking at first.
What he's talking about in a lot of these metaphors is having a balance of masculine and feminine energy within himself, so that he can slay enemy and he can also tend to his garden.
Yeah,
and it's what we have now in American military is an imbalance, or really in all of American society, within the women, as well as an imbalance of people who are way into their masculine energy, and their feminine is suppressed. It has nothing to do with sexuality or preference. It's a completely different.
Is that just rah or nah?
What?
Masculine's rah, feminine's nah.
It's been said many times.
Yeah, to either be one or the other is the problem. Like you're saying, the yin yang is the rah-nah, the oh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay.
Because that's what it all is. Just like I said, whether it's a fight, like with guns, or a tournament, jujitsu, or even work. I'm going to crush this fucking meat in the middle of it. And then you come home to your kids and they're like, yeah, we're going to the baseball game. And you're like, we're going to crush this fucking baseball game, you know? And it's like, no, you're bringing the
masculine energy.
But that's the same problem with a movement like that too. Yes. There's not an end date like attacks. Now you're taking that into gays. Now you're taking, I like how I said gays like RFK. The gays are gays.
Gays are spreading the HIV.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's where you see like that movement. I think that is, I've heard this before, and I think this is an actual debate, that when women achieve the movement of like rights of voting, driving, stuff like this, then you really see the push of movement towards the gay community. Like you look at San Francisco, Harvey Milk.
Hang on. We're talking about feminine versus masculine.
Yeah. But they follow.
Okay.
Like if you look at the United States,
I can't follow you.
If you look at the United States, when women were granted the right to like vote and stuff, what was it? The
disaster.
Get him out of that ballot box. Dude, that reminds me of was it Borat? Remember when he goes to New York and he's talking with those feminists and he's like, Dr. Yearly explained that the female brain is only half the size of male. Yeah. How can you do all these things? And they're like, excuse me? Isn't that true? Yeah. Calm down, pussycat. Okay, we're done. But I think what you see of the women's movement, like the bra burning of the 60s at hippies, then it turned into like the Harvey Milk, the San Francisco. You look at when the AIDS epidemic amongst the gays really broke out was bathhouses and sex parties of the 80s. Like the 60s slid into the 70s, and then that 70s slid into the 80s. That's part of what led culture. Like having those, like, I think the feminists that burned their bras in the 60s into the 70s fought for equality, for workplace, and they're like, all right, women can come here. We're still going to anchorman treat them, but they can work here and stuff. But then it's like, okay, so now women can work in the workplace with a man. What do we do with this cause? What do we do with this movement? We're supposed to get $2 million next year in donations. We're just going to send it back. Fight for the gays. Yeah. And I think that's where you see, that's what you do with masculine energy. Now I have a new war. Afghanistan, we didn't get Osama, but now I got Iraq, Mm-hmm. And so that's what you see. That's that sliding of masculine energy. That's how it continued to progress. That's what leads us into where we are today, I feel, is these constant fighting for causes. It's not the people themselves. When it's grassroots, that's why people always say, oh, it's a grassroots
I think the causes are distractions.
No, there should be real fight for inequality and injustice. That's what America, goddamn, Ken Burns taught me something. It's that you fight for independence and who you want, your authenticity, right?
Yes.
Throughout history, tyranny has always stifled authenticity in the names of I know better than you do, or I will do this to help you. That's why America was an interesting experiment, is because we got the opportunity for people to flourish and try and do well. We created combustion engine. We got a lot of Nazi scientists and made the nuclear bomb. No, we made rockets to go to the moon with Nazis. But I said, America, if it was just in the history books, if it was like this is 250 years, would it still be written about? Yes, because it had an incredible impact. And that impact is what changes culture and society and how the world operates. Those women fighting for their job, yes, it did distract and maybe like the joy of motherhood, but it is like it does about allow the ability for a woman with a great idea to come up and create a business and make money and change the world. And now men are copying it. And you know what it does? It just makes everything better because someone put the idea out there.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is how you get lost, find yourself, complete the loop, and bring it home.
Yeah. I think, yeah. Is it not true, though? But, I mean, these are all things like, don't you think everyone kind of thinks about that? Like, there is like a mask, like, you call it what you want, but there is an aggressive side towards business, you know? Like, think of like the guy wearing the suit and the cutthroat. Yeah. And I'm going to get stuff done. And then there is a much softer approach of people that are like, oh, I'm just kind of like arts and crafts and I'm homey. And people are like, oh, you're fun to hang out with too. I think these are things everyone thinks about. Like we said, it's hard. Sometimes these things are abstract. They're not concrete. And they're kind of ethereal ideas. But I think everyone has to think, if you work in a job, I'm sure you've had a boss that's a dick, but kind of gets stuff done. But then you've had other people that are super nice and it's like they never get promoted, but they make you feel good. Mm-hmm. These are dynamics and aspects that have to transverse everyone's thought throughout life.
Yeah. But what most people miss that you just described very well is the difference in feminine versus masculine energy.
I'm a cum shot away from being gay. I understand them both.
Oh, Lord.
Dude, that's your podcast co-host, dude.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Welcome to the show.
Dude, would you text me? When I was like, hey, man, human malleability, and you're like, you're finally coming out.
Yeah. I figured tonight was the night. I thought, here we go. Our boy, Mike Sugar Pants Kozak, is finally going to announce to the world.
You know what you mistake as sugar is actually style, dude. What it's called is flair and fire, dude.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No astral.
No Mike, flaming gay.
Not Mike Higgs Boson Kozak. It's Mike Sugar Pants Kozak.
Dark matter, white matter.
White matter.
White matter matters, dude. Yeah, that's what I'm going to tell Danielle.
Mike Photon Kozak.
Yeah, the photon. Prepare for my photon bombardment.
It's the brightest thing in the universe.
All right, dude, that's got to be it. So stupid. Is that it?
I don't think I could possibly follow that.
No photon mass? All right.
No. If you guys are enjoying the show, share it with your people. Like it. Subscribe to it.
Share it to your local
Give us a review. Somehow after 100 and some episodes, we've got like 30 reviews.
That's perfect, dude.
There's got to be more listeners than 30.
All of them are my reviews. Oh my God, that mic sounds so dreamy.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody.